the Olympic Games, Notre Dame football, the Premier League, the NASCAR playoffs, Sunday Night Football, and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
Good evening from Boston, a city filled with history. And tonight, about to host one of its most anticipated sporting events. About 30 miles south of the city at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, maybe the biggest build-up for a regular season game in NFL history. Because of this guy, Tom Brady, the man who won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, greeting old friends from the franchise, but he's back in New England with his defending champion Buccaneers to take on his former team. We're just an hour away from the return of Brady to Foxborough on Sunday Night Football. And he'll be coming out of that door, the visitors' locker room, for the very first time in his career in a stadium he's very familiar with. Hi, everybody. Mike Tirico. Welcome to Football Night in America. Tom Brady's used to coming out of the door 46 paces the other way. That's the home locker room. He's done it for 2 decades, but tonight it's a very different story. He'll be taking this walk probably about 20 minutes or so onto the field for a huge ovation. Of course, the night has been built Brady against Belichick, the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest head coach of all time. We know it's all about the teams as well, but it's not just about Brady and Belichick. Tonight's about a city that loves its sports. Tonight's a Boston night. Think of the great sports legends like Ted Williams and Bill Russell and Bobby Orr, the legends of sports. That's on the Mount Rushmore along with Tom Brady. But none of those greats ever played a road game in Boston. Tonight, these fans are going to come. They'll probably give Brady one of the great ovations of all time. But then they'll be rooting for their Patriots to win. That's the parochial nature that makes New England so special. Tom's going to come down this tunnel and head on out this way to a field where he has played 157 games before. Most of them wins. 19 playoff wins, but the last time he was on this field was a wild card game against Tennessee, January 2000. His very last pass was intercepted by a former teammate, Logan Ryan. So he'll return to this field tonight, perhaps with that memory. But there'll be a lot of memories of those things, those 6 banners he helped put on top of this stadium. There'll be a reception like you've never seen. I'm looking at the crowd. I see more number 12 jerseys. No visiting players probably had his jersey worn in a stadium on the road than tonight, Tom Brady. It's a night filled of emotion. It's a night filled of passion. It's a night filled of memories. To help us set the tone, a couple guys who've been through something similar to this. Tony Dungy and Drew Brees. Guys?
Mike, you talk about emotion, and there's going to be plenty of it tonight. I can tell you that from experience. In 2002, I went back to Tampa after being fired by the Buccaneers. I was with the Colts. I thought I was going to hold it all together. I was going to be fine all week. I was telling myself it's just another game. When we got introduced and that crowd erupted for me, Drew, I almost lost it. And Tom Brady is going to have trouble holding it together tonight.
I can only imagine what it would be like for me to go back to the Superdome here and walk out of the visitors' tunnel after my 15 years there. I do know what it was like to go back to San Diego when I played for the Chargers. It was 10 years later. I thought I had mentally prepared myself, but I'm shedding tears as I'm giving the pregame speech to the team. So those emotions are real, and they're hard to hold back.
They are. Tom was great. We saw him before the game, shaking hands with everybody. But when he hits this field, I want to see it because it is going to be emotional. And to find out more about the atmosphere, we're going to go to Jack Collinsworth and Rodney Harrison, who are out in the crowd.
Coach, it is not too bad hanging out with the mayor of Foxborough. Rodney Harrison one time. You can feel this place and ride over your 6 seasons as a teammate with Tom Brady. You brought 2 Super Bowls to this city. What defined Brady as a teammate?
Well, Tom was like the perfect teammate. He always worked extremely hard. He always came in prepared. And more importantly, he always put the team first. But what I love about it is these fans, they now get a chance to see Tom Brady's really his personality through social media, through all the commercials that he's doing. And that's why we fell in love with Tom, because of his personality.
It's a Tom Brady celebration tonight, but it's also about Boston, about the people of New England. How do you think they will treat this homecoming
for Brady? Are you kidding me? Hey, you guys love Tom Brady. They love Tom Brady. Let me tell you something, the reason why. He sacrificed more than anybody in this organization for 20 years. For 20 years, he put it on the line. They love Tom Brady, and so do I.
You could just feel, Rod, the weight of this return waking up today in Boston. Tonight is a story that this city will tell forever. We are counting you down to the Patriots and the Bucs on Sunday Night Football.
Super Bowl.
Legendary. What we're going to do now is go back.
Among the last 6 picks taken, a familiar name if you're a college football fan, Tom Brady.
I thought he was just this skinny kid like everybody else did.
I'm not sure he's going to get up on this one.
I don't really remember the hit at all.
Tom Brady has been put into quarterback.
He was right in my hip pocket, asking questions all the time.
You just want to throw so you can get on TV, huh?
I didn't know that he was going to go take my job.
The game is over, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
You are the man.
I've still got that Super Bowl ring. I get to wear it too.
Some have aged well, some of us haven't. We'll just say that, right? Well, it is a night of split emotion. See some of those Bucks and Pats number 12 Brady jerseys. Brady and Belichick about them tonight because it's been about them for the last 20 years. No duo more successful. 249 wins together. That's 100 more than number 2 on the list, Mr. Breeze and Sean Payton in New Orleans. A guy who knows both Brady and Belichick really well are Rodney Harrison, who caught up with his former coach just a short time ago.
Coach, how do you think your team handled this week and all the distractions that came with it?
Yeah, I mean, really, it wasn't that bad. We're just focused on Tampa, and there are a lot to get ready for, but that's really where our mind was all week, and we made progress during the week. It was, it was slow in the early part of the week, but as we got more familiar with them, as a team we haven't played, it definitely picked up towards the end of the week.
You got a rookie quarterback against a veteran defense. What concerns you?
Well, we just need to, really all play well offensively. There's no one guy that's going to beat this defense. We're going to have to block them. We're going to have to, make plays in the passing game, be balanced in the running game, convert some, third down, red area opportunities, situational football. So, Mac's well prepared, and I'm sure he'll go out there and do well.
How do you slow down Brady in this offense?
Well, again, it's good team defense. They got a lot of weapons. Good receivers, good tight ends, good running backs, great quarterback, good offensive line. It's a do-your-job game. Everybody's going to have to hold up their end.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Oh, you're welcome, Rod.
Good to see you, too.
See, there is a former Belichick player who could make him smile tonight. It's Rodney Harrison. Yeah. How good was that? It was terrific. Let's talk about what we've been asked all week, guys. Who has the advantage, Brady or Belichick? So I've got a quarterback and a coach, so let me guess. You're going to tell me the quarterback, you're going to tell me the coach.
Well, when Bill was talking to Rodney, the first thing he mentioned was his offense. And I know from playing against Bill Belichick in the past, when he's played against great quarterbacks, he gets very aggressive on offense. Go for it on 4th down, trick plays, onside kicks, whatever it takes to keep the ball away from Tom Brady. I think that's going to be part of the strategy tonight.
Of course the quarterback has the advantage. See, we've all heard it. How do you take away the quarterback's mojo? We have to occupy that space 4 yards behind the center, right? So collapse the pocket, move him off his spot, right? Disguise coverage. Yeah. We've all heard that. But then you got to go out and execute it.
Right.
And I can promise you Tom Brady has seen whatever they're going to do to try to defend him tonight.
So you knew that they knew pretty much.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the other quarterback. You mentioned the Patriots maybe have to do it on offense. What a night to be Mac Jones. Here's your 4th NFL start, and most of the people in this building are wearing the visiting quarterback's number. Right. Exactly, but Mac Jones has made a good impression, the 15th overall pick, won the job in the preseason. Drew, what have you seen if you watch the rookie from Alabama?
I've seen a lot of poise and maturity from this young player, playing beyond his years. Watch him here. The decisiveness, the ability to decipher what's happening. It's disguised coverage. They end up trapping this with the corner. Instead of throwing the out route into coverage, he throws it to the sideline, just that recognition.
And making good reads pre-snap. Here he sees tight end open right away, get it out of his hands quick, find the open man.
And how about this here, the progression? 1, 2, 3's not open, 4's not open. Get to the 5th progression, find a completion. That is very rare as the pocket is collapsing around him for a young quarterback.
Were you doing that in your 3rd game?
Absolutely not. I was 1, 2, and running.
And where's his mind right now? You met him a few minutes ago on the field. What did he do?
He complimented me on my suit and then was right back to business.
I love it. Do your job. Like Belichick says, do your job game. Well, doing our jobs tonight back in the studio, Maria Taylor and Chris Sims on this busy night. Ton of other games going on. And Maria and Chris have us covered as well as anybody. Good evening, Maria.
Good evening, Mike. And yes, Drew does look great in that suit. Okay, we're all anticipating Brady's return. We can't wait for the guys to return back to the studio. But let's talk about another rookie quarterback, not just Mac Jones getting a start today. How about Justin Fields in an NFC North matchup against the Detroit Lions, looking for his first career win in his 2nd career start?
Yeah, Justin Fields looked good today. The defense caused some early turnovers. He made some splash throws. The Bears ran the ball well. That ended up in going to be in a victory over Detroit.
All right, so the Bears get the win 24-14. Fields goes 11 for 17, 209 yards, and gets that first win. The Titans taking on the Jets late in the fourth quarter. Titans down 7. Ryan Tannehill trying to find Cameron Batson to force overtime.
Clutch fourth quarter drive by Tannehill. No A.J. Brown, no Julio Jones to score right there. Big sends it in overtime.
But let's be honest, this is all about the Jets.
We know it. Let's go.
49-yard field goal attempt is no good by Randy Bullock after the Jets field goal in OT. That means the Jets hang on.
Way to go, Jets. Zach Wilson looked really good.
His first career win. He had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Some late game heroics from the rookie. The Colts taking on the Dolphins. Carson Wentz and Indy still looking for their first win.
Yeah, Wentz was efficient, made some plays. Jonathan Taylor ran the ball well, and the Dolphins' offense is just struggling.
I think his lineman just pulled the monkey off of his back.
It's off his back.
7 straight starts to get the win there. Okay, Houston Texans taking on the Bills. A rainy day in Buffalo, but the Bills Mafia loves the rain.
Oh, I mean, they love their team, and they love Josh Allen. He was good today. But the Bills' defense is the star of the show, and their run game's coming along, too.
Yeah, the Bills forced 5 turnovers, and how about this? This is their second shutout in 4 weeks, and the last team that was able to pull that off was the Baltimore Ravens of 2000 that won a Super Bowl. We like that defense, so let's talk about this Bills defense and what you've seen.
Well, I'm not going to say they're the 2000 Ravens yet, but they have been dominant this year. I mean, Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, the game plans week in, week out have really stymied offenses, and I don't even think we've seen this offense hit on all cylinders yet. That's why, for me, the Bills are the most dangerous team in the AFC, and I don't even think they've hit full capacity yet, like I said, on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think, considering the fact that they just went 40-0 against the Houston Texans. All right, we are still waiting for Brady's return. Welcome back, Brady, after a couple of decades in Foxborough and 6 titles. I wonder how those fans are feeling about tonight.
Kind of excited.
Back in Foxborough, we thought there'd be 2 reunions tonight, but Rob Gronkowski unfortunately not here. The reports of a cracked rib and punctured lung injured last week. Gronk won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, their all-time leader in touchdown catches. Also a lot off the field in New England as well. I want to take you back to May, one of the causes Gronk has been supportive of. His foundation donating $1.2 million to renovate Charles Bank Playground, located right off the Charles River, and to create a trust to maintain it going forward. Gronk said at the time, quote, "No matter where I go or where I live, I will always have a special connection to New England and the people who live here. You know, the feeling is mutual, especially those who will benefit from that park." More highlights. Back to Maria.
All right, thanks, Mike. We're going to start with the Giants taking on the Saints. And remember, the Saints playing at home for the first time because of Hurricane Ida. But Daniel Jones is trying to spoil the Saints' return.
He spoiled it. He was phenomenal today. Made a lot of big throws like you see right here. It was Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley show for the fourth quarter comeback of the New York Giants.
A career-high passing for Daniel Jones, 402. New York Giants get the overtime win, as do the Jets for the first time ever in the same day. Washington football team taking on the Falcons. A wild finish in a game that saw 5 lead changes.
Yeah, Tyler Heineke, clutch. That's all I can really say. 2 late fourth quarter drives. This one, magical, just buying some time to the left, finding J.D. McKissick for the touchdown.
He had 3 touchdowns, and he's playing just 30 miles away from his high school, Collins Hill, so that's probably why he was showing out. The Browns taking on the Vikings. Remember, Kevin Stefanski returning to Minnesota for the first time after spending 14 seasons with the Vikings, so they're familiar with each other.
Yeah, and it was a defensive struggle all game long. Defense for the Browns and their 2-headed monster running the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Vikings down 7. One last chance. Kirk Cousins throws to the end zone. It's incomplete. So the Vikings are 1-3 for the second straight year. The Browns are 3-1 for the second straight season with a 14-7 win. The Panthers taking on the Cowboys. Sam Darnold, and remember, they're 3-0, looking to be 4-0 for the first time since 2015. He'll take it himself.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's looked good. Back and forth this game went early on. It was a lot of fun to watch. But Dallas settled in. Defense caused a few turnovers like they always do. And Maria, this is the most balanced offense in football, in my opinion, with the way they run and throw the ball.
That was Amari Cooper on the catch, a 35-yard touchdown. Prescott would have 44 passing touchdowns today, and looking to extend the lead. There's Schultz catching one as well. And then, do you think the defense can turn it on lately?
I mean, this is where Dan Quinn has really made his money. You know, they have changed their attitude on this side of the ball, and Trayvon Diggs makes a handful of plays every week. Really awesome.
His second interception of the game. He leads the NFL with 5 INTs on the season. Cowboys win at 36-28. The Chiefs taking on the Eagles. Andy Reid facing his former team straight to the second quarter. Chiefs down 3. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Tyreek Hill. Get used to hearing that combo.
Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Right. You might want to cover that guy. Last I heard, he's kind of good. And Mahomes just can continue to throw the ball to him. And then they ran the ball as well as I've ever seen them run the ball in Kansas City today. I mean, Maria, this play here, come on, this is Mahomes right here. Off the back foot, 55-yard bomb. And that guy you talked about, what was his name again?
I think it was Tyreek Hill. 11 receptions, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the Chiefs snapped a 2-game losing streak. Maybe even more importantly, it seemed as though the offense stopped that streak of seeming a little inconsistent.
Right.
What did you see from
I think that's exactly it. Patience, right? Not trying to make too much happen or force plays. Mahomes with the no-look interception last week, running the ball the way they did. But the offense, that's where it starts for the Kansas City Chiefs. They got to put pressure on the other team's defense all the time. That's where all their money is, all their assets and playmakers. Their defense is struggling right now, so the offense is going to have to hold it down. Excuse me.
All right, so Patrick Mahomes has 5 touchdowns on the night, and also they have 200 yards rushing in this game, and that's huge. So there's a little bit of balance. Let's bring in Mike Florio here to hear what Patrick Mahomes has to say about the way that the defense seems to have found their groove. Good evening, Mike.
Well, absolutely. And Maria, I spoke to Patrick Mahomes after the game, and he admitted that the team had gotten a little complacent, and they were expecting good things to happen late in games without putting in the work. So the focus this week was put in the work and finish. And Mahomes is also very excited about the prospect of next Sunday night adding receiver Josh Gordon. Mahomes went on and on about how enthused he is about having this guy on his team, how hard he works, how special he is, and he can't wait to make him a part of that offense, Maria.
That's right. Josh Gordon hasn't played till 2019, but he was a Pro Bowler in 2013. Appreciate you, Mike. Now let's get it back to Mike Tirico, who's in Foxborough.
All right, Maria, let's pick up on the conversation with Drew and Tony. The Chiefs did look better. Are you convinced that they're all the way back yet?
Well, the defense has given up 31 points a game. So we know the offense can score points, but the defense is going to have to stop somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, the team I was impressed with is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is playing with such confidence, and Dan Quinn, talk about defense. He's changed the mentality of that defense.
Yeah, you mentioned
the defensive coordinator.
Exactly. You mentioned Buffalo, Kansas City next Sunday night. We get a great game at Arrowhead coming up. I guess who's back in the NFL? Richard Sherman at age 33. Played 5 games last year. Chiefs signed him back on Wednesday. They had some injuries at the corner. We're going to see Richard Sherman on the field tonight in the Brady return game.
Where the hell are we? Your mom and brother, they're alive. What I saw flashes. I saw my family.
Run!
How is that possible?
At Long John Silver's, our legendary lobster bites are back with a delicious vengeance. Prepared with herby, buttery goodness and fried to golden perfection, they're the perfect delicacy as part of your family feast. Order online at longjohnsilvers.com. Fish yeah.
MCG Mechanical Incorporated. We are a single source provider of air conditioning, heating, air cleaning systems, and controls for business and commercial buildings. We also offer industrial refrigeration installations and in-house metal fabrication. From engineering design concepts to installation, maintenance, and repair, we can do it all in one place for your business. MCG Mechanical is here to get your business underway with air conditioning installation and service. You'll get the best for your budget. MCG Mechanical. Full service at your service.
WYFF News 4. Live, local, breaking news. Take it with you wherever you go. Stay connected all day long. Download, bookmark, and follow WYFF News 4. The WYFF 4 app. Download now.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Sunday Night Football! Everybody watching!
So how will New England react when Tom Brady returns to the scene of his prime?
Tom terrific. He can do no wrong. Not in New England's eyes.
Recognize I'm bad.
Tom Brady's a GOAT. Kills any conversation anyone has. All you have to do is say, we got the GOAT.
What do you remember about the day when it was announced?
I remember it being a very sad day. Riding the gravy train of Super Bowl after Super Bowl was ending.
I respect him. I want him to go crazy. I want him to throw 5 touchdowns. I want it to be a shootout, but I hands down want us to win the game. This is the house that Tom Brady built, but He doesn't live here anymore.
What should the fans do when Tom Brady walks out on the field?
So what do the fans do for everybody else? They boo them.
Give him a golf clap, and then we'll get really happy when he throws a pick six and we start scoring.
A golf clap for
nice little toy.
For 6 Super Bowls?
We only care about the next one.
Recognize I'm back.
Well, there is a lot more than a golf clap right here tonight. There is a celebration unlike any other in Foxborough. Tom Brady comes back to a place he brought so much joy to for 20 years. Back in Super Bowl 39, Brady leaned on Deion Branch and Rodney Harrison, 2 men who were teammates for 3 seasons and won the Super Bowl together twice, 2 out of 3 years. Deion took home the Super Bowl MVP. Rod, you voted for him, right?
Wait, man, how you gonna take home my Super Bowl MVP trophy?
Nah, I don't think it was yours, Rodney. I told Coach, hurry up, let's go ahead and get these votes in before Rodney made that pick. I was so happy. My whole family's happy right now.
So you've known Tom Brady for a long time. Yes. Was there ever a special moment in practice or the game that you said, wow, this dude is going to be really good?
And I think the thing you're saying right now, Rodney, that's when I knew Tom was that guy. All this stuff happened in practice, the meeting rooms. Tom is a perfectionist. He wanted to go over slants, hitches, out routes, go routes constantly every day. We rep these plays every day. So we knew right away that this guy was going to be the man.
And Deion, you were one of Tom's all-time favorite targets. What's the key to earning his trust?
I think overall, just making sure we're on the same page. I think most of this stuff starts in practice in the film room. And once you develop that chemistry with Tom, I think you'll be perfectly fine.
All right, real quick. Who you picking? You picking the coach or you picking Tom? We need to know, bro.
Thank you. You hear all the noise behind me.
So who you picking?
I'm going with the coach tonight, baby.
You going with the coach?
I'm going with Coach Belichick.
Okay.
But I want my brother to have a good game, but I think my Patriots will pull this game
off. So
off.
I'll tell Tom, I'll text him and say you didn't believe in him.
Oh, my God.
Don't do me there with the coach picking the New England Patriots. Mike, it's just nice hanging out with the winners over here. Back over to you.
We'll see what Rodney does. Bruce Arians' 69th birthday. Great birthday gift. Hey, welcome to those of you who watch the games in Green Bay and in Denver. Whole country for Brady taking the field as we continue live from New England.
Securing the win. Presented by Simply Safe.
The Patriots are Super Bowl champions. It's over. The New England Patriots have won the Super Bowl. World champions again. Intercepted. Here's the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. 6-time world champion.
Tom Brady just does his thing. How about that?
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood. And by Corona Extra. Find the fine life. Live La Vida Más Fina. And by PointsBet. This season, don't just bet. Live your bet life.
And here is the scene just 90 seconds ago in Foxborough. We'll let you listen and watch as Tom Brady returns as a visitor for the first time. He did so often when taking the field. That rundown, pump of the arm, a hug there for Josh McDaniels, his longtime friend and offensive coordinator, and to the business of game prep. I would say the stands are 65 to 70% filled, and we are still 50 minutes from kickoff. So the fans wanted to be here for that moment. And you can hear they chanted Brady, Brady for a couple of moments as Tom began to warm up. And By the way, as soon as Brady hit the tunnel, the rains began. And that's going to be a story in the game. We're expecting rain throughout the night. Brady, who has played in bad weather so often here, is different generations of Tom Brady taking through his career. He averaged 227 yards a game, 25 touchdowns, 13 picks those first 6 seasons in New England. Defense won those championships. But then Brady hit his peak. 280 yards a game, 33 touchdowns, 8 picks over the next decade plus. And now, new team just as productive, averaging over 300 yards, 42 touchdowns for 16 games with the Bucs. But as we simplify the game powered by Microsoft Surface, the fans react to the Patriots coming out, and it's going to be kind of a mix of what the night is going to be like. A little bit of help and support for the home team, a little bit of remembering for Tom Brady. Let's talk about why Brady has become a little more lethal with the Buccaneers. The deep ball is in the game.
It has come back. And last year, Mike, in year one with the Bucs, it was more like Brady 1.0. But now that offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich has gotten familiar with Tom, they are really getting that ball downfield. And we're going to take a look and show you what we mean here. Tom likes to push it downfield, and the one thing he does, Drew, he throws with confidence. Even when guys are covered, he feels like he can get the ball in there.
And how about the play action? Here, fake to the right. What does that do? Brings the linebackers up, opens up these down-the-field windows. People knock Tom Brady's athleticism, but this is hard to do. Flip your hips around, deliver the ball accurately down the field.
And the 20 years of experience lets him see things on the field before they happen. He's got a receiver open, but he knew pre-snap. He had Antonio Brown one-on-one. He waits it out, takes his shot, and this is what's come back to the Buccaneers offense, the big play.
Let's show you the numbers of how to quantify Brady and the deep ball. It doesn't look like a big difference, 1 more yard average downfield, but it takes you from 21st to 3rd in the league. These are his New England numbers, and then the numbers in Tampa the last year plus, from 24th to 4th in the shots, 20-plus yards down the field. For how Bill Belichick's going to go about defending this tonight, let's go back outside Jack and Rodney.
Mike, it just feels right. A little bit of rain coming down for some defensive
It don't feel right for me.
Nobody knows what is behind that curtain of the Bill Belichick defense better than you, Ron. So what will be the game plan for Tom Brady tonight?
Well, me knowing Coach Belichick, he's going to come out with a variety of coverages. And I think he should start with man-to-man to challenge that quick passing game. But also, he understands that in order to get to Tom Brady, you got to put pressure directly in his face. And if they can't get there with 4 guys, they're going to blitz a linebacker, whether it's Bentley, whether it's Hightower. But in order to affect Tom, you have to hit him physically. But also, Coach Belichick will rush 3, drop 8, force Tom Brady to keep the ball in his hands and don't allow him to make those big plays down the field.
And games are one thing, right? But you went up against Brady in practice every single day. What kind of mind games does he create?
Man, Tom is a trip. He always tried to steal our calls, our hand signals. If I'm telling a guy that it's man-to-man, he's trying to figure it out. Tom is just ultimate competitor.
And Rod, Sunday Night 7 is back this week. Take one guess who it might be with. Tom Brady. How many passing yards and passing touchdowns in his old stadium?
Well, he doesn't have Gronk, okay? It's going to rain, but I still think he's going to pass between 260 and 299 yards, and I think he'll throw 2 touchdowns.
Well, you can make your picks right along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. And how about on the other side, Rod? You think about for Mac Jones, the pressure that are going to be on his shoulders as he gets ready to come back and take on Tom Brady, who for 20 years led this entire city. We're counting you down to Sunday Night Football.
Simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Who's there?
Everything they want is right in front of them.
Gasoline in my veins, be the fuel through my payroll. It is good! It is good! As we rise from the flames.
Foxborough will love Tom Brady. Jones drops back. Touchdown! First in the career of Mac Jones. Fire the cannon!
It's time to fire on up.
Way to go, baby.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Well, for the fans outside of Gillette Stadium, all across New England, and all across the National Football circled in their calendar. So the fans around here got creative with their images and imagery. In about a year to think about it, they've come up big for the return game. Special shirts, special signs. Of course, somebody's going to go to a game, a grown-up wearing a GOAT uniform because of that guy in 12, but a visitor. More from here in a moment. More highlights now. Back to Marie in the studio.
Thanks, Mike. I'm partial to the GOAT costume, I gotta admit. All right, we have all of the afternoon games wrapped up, so there's only one thing left to do, and that is to tell you exactly what happened. So let's start out with the Ravens on the road taking on a 3-0 Denver Broncos team. Lamar Jackson finding Hollywood Brown on a 49-yard touchdown.
He was the star of the show. The Ravens offense got off to a slow start. It was Lamar's ability to throw from the pocket that won them the game, Maria.
Teddy Bridgewater left the game with a concussion. We'll get an update later. The Steelers taking on the Packers. Welcome to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. He would have 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing today.
Well, he's the man, and the Packers for the 3rd week in a row really balanced on offense, playing some good defense too. Any Ty Marino's record today.
There you go, Rogers. 9 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions during the winning streak. Seattle Seahawks taking on San Francisco 49ers. Russell Wilson never lost 3 in a row.
Well, they couldn't even get a first down early on in the game, but they hung around, and then he makes plays like this that are just insanity in the membranity.
I don't have anything to say to that.
You
Jimmy
can't
G
say anything.
did leave with a calf strain. We'll get an update on that as well. NFC West showdown in the first quarter. The Rams up 3-0. Matthew Stafford is intercepted by Byron Murphy. That's just the start of a very sloppy game for the Rams. 3 interceptions this season for Murphy, but now it's time for the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive, Chris.
The Rams defense could not get off the field on 3rd downs. They cannot contain Kyler Murray all game long. Here, not great pressure, right? But he just kind of floats to the right, and they have too many weapons all over the field to let Kyler Murray have that much time to throw the football.
And that was Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. We'll take you straight to the second quarter after a Rams TD. How about a little more Kyler Murray? How about he finds his tight end, Max Williams, for a 14-yard touchdown?
He was on fire today. Played as well as I can ever remember him playing. Great throw here down the middle of the big tight end.
So Arizona is the last remaining undefeated team in the NFC. They've had 30-plus points and 400-plus yards of offense so far in all 4 of their games this season. But the question I have for you is, are the Cardinals for real? Are you feeling confident in what you've been able to see?
I am. Get used to them. They're here to stay. They're just too many talented football players on both sides of the ball. They can change the game on the defensive side of the ball, and then, of course, we know on the offensive side of the ball between A.J. Green and Hopkins and Ronald Moore, and, of course, the quarterback, Kyler Murray, as special he is, they're going to be here all year long.
Yeah, underdogs in the game against the Rams, underdogs no more.
That's right.
But you heard that there are a couple of quarterbacks that were banged up in the afternoon games. Let's check back in with Mike Florio for the latest.
Yeah, Maria, you mentioned the concussion that was suffered by Teddy Bridgewater. That came late in the first half of Denver's game against the Ravens on a big hit that Bridgewater took. Now, he'll be sidelined until he gets all appropriate medical clearances to return. We don't know when that will be. It was a surprise at the start of the second half of the Seahawks-49ers game when Trey Lance entered. Jimmy Garoppolo exited. The 49ers eventually said he has a calf injury. He was questionable to return. He never did. They got the Cardinals next week and then a bye after that. One more note about the 49ers. Left tackle Trent Williams suffered an elbow injury late. We'll keep an eye on his status as well.
All right, appreciate it, Mike. Well, all of the Week 4 highlights for Sunday are done, which means only the return is left. We get you back to Mike Tirico.
You got it, Maria. Only the Cardinals and Raiders left undefeated in the NFL. The Jaguars and the Lions, only teams looking for wins. Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, he had some private time with Tom Brady after Brady arrived at the stadium. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Bill Belichick has just made his appearance out here on the field. You know, all of them are feeling emotions. Together, the trio was outstanding. They did some things no one's ever done before. As Brady returns, the thoughts and emotions going through all their eyes. We'll keep an eye on Tom as we step out for a moment, but back shortly from Foxborough. He's on the field, about a half hour, the game starts. Tom Brady returns to New England as we continue the countdown to the Bucs and the Pats.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
Your Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots!
Tom Brady, a once-in-a-generation player.
He gave us 20 of the greatest years we've ever had as Patriots fans.
I never thought I would actually see him win a Super Bowl, never mind win 6 of them.
The connection that we create with the fans never goes away. They support sports so much here, and winning here, it's like a dream come true.
There's a very, very short list of some of the icons in all of sports, and I know he's very, very high on that Mount Rushmore of Boston sports for sure.
We're bringing this sucker home!
You don't realize how many lives you touch while you are out there doing your thing. That's what made this night so special.
What a legacy, what a night of emotion for the people of New England, especially the city of Boston. Number 12 jerseys all around Boston through the Common today. You see the guy who helped this franchise win 6 Super Bowls, entered Gillette Stadium in a different uniform. The Patriot is now a Buck. He's a champion again. 44-year-old Tom Brady returning as a visitor for the very first time. We've taken our act onto the field here as we get a little bit closer, bring Rodney in from outside. And guys, why don't we go on the field, presented by Hyundai, talk about some of the key players in this game in the rain. And I'm going to start with you, Tony, talking about some receivers for the Bucs.
Yeah, Tom loves his tight ends, but Rob Gronkowski is not here, so it falls on the wide receivers. Mike Evans, that big, strong guy on the outside, Drew.
And he loves to attack the middle of the field with Chris Godwin. Runs every route on the tree.
Rodney, J.C. Jackson, corner. Got to watch him. He was banged up during the week.
Absolutely, and I expect him to match up with Mike Evans. He's big, he's fast, so he can't give up the big play down the field. But also, Mike, without Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans becomes Tom Brady's favorite target.
And Rodney, you've always told me that pressure is the key to playing against Tom Brady, and the guy that the Patriots got to create that pressure is Matthew Judon.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been their best defensive player. He's been good. He hasn't been great. They paid him a lot of money, Coach, and we talk about it all the time. In order to disrupt Tom Brady, you got to hit him. It's going to be up to him to do that tonight.
And Drew, we talked about it earlier. The Patriots quarterback making his 4th start, threw 51 times against the Saints last week.
Yeah, this is a classic Bill Belichick do-your-job game for Mac Jones. Don't put too much on the young quarterback. Just let him go out and execute. Find open receivers. He's going to have some opportunities. It's just a matter of making those big plays.
Well, as we were moving over and working the umbrellas, we were also taking a peek. You guys notice anything out on the field here in warm-ups, Rods?
Yeah, I had a couple guys, players from the Patriots, walk up to me and say, hey, we cannot lose 2 games at home, so they're going to be ready.
And for me, I noticed Tom Brady, just how relaxed he was, talking to Drew before the game, shaking hands with people out here. You know, he looks very, very calm. I want to see how he is at kickoff.
I talked to some of his Bucs teammates pregame, and all those guys said, we feel the energy tonight to win one for Tom.
You feel a sense of history tonight, don't you?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, there's a little history with you, too.
I think there's going to be some history made.
All-time passing leaders in NFL history. Brett Favre is 4th with just under 72,000 yards. Peyton Manning is 3rd, right around that same number. Tom Brady currently sits at number 2. It is my distinct honor to stand next to the NFL's all-time passing yardage leader. I can say that for another hour or so.
I was going to say, what, that's tonight? That's tonight. Oh, okay. Well, we got to be ready for that. I'll tell you what, if there's one guy who's going to take this record, it's got to be Tom Brady. I've had such an unbelievable relationship with him. It's been highly competitive for the first 15, 17 years of our time, you know, playing in the NFL against each other, but we've had some great moments.
68 yards away.
Can I say something real quick? And I had the pleasure to play with this guy and play with Tom Brady. So congratulations on everything you've done, bro.
You know, we told you when Tom Brady arrived, there were a bunch of folks who passed by. He stopped and said hello. Drew, you got a chance to see him and spend a minute with him as well. You guys have known each other as competitors and got to know each other a little bit better as time has gone on here.
No, we have, and I say especially over the last 3 years, I say our relationship is become so much about gratitude and appreciation. We've had a chance to play against each other for a long time, since 1999 in the Big Ten. But the last 3 years, I actually went back and looked at all our text messages during that time, and you know, he was there to congratulate me with all the big records and fourth quarter comebacks and big games, and I did the same for him. And I think towards the end, it was just so much gratitude, appreciation, so many parallels with our football journeys together, and just been an unbelievable ride. It's been incredible to watch him, and obviously what he's going to be able to accomplish tonight.
and pass your record. Sorry about that. I'll be here for support, though.
They're meant to be broken.
Time now for the PointsBet Pulse for tonight. Let's look at some of the unique numbers and opportunities to talk about, the props that are out there tonight, like who's going to catch the pass that'll be 68 yards to go past Drew Brees on the all-time list. As we look at some of the other options that are out there, how the Pats going to defend Tom Brady tonight?
Well, this man has told me for 12 years there's only one way to do it. Pressure up inside the pocket and tight physical man-to-man coverage. So I think we're going to see a lot of that early.
Well, Coach, we know one thing. These quarterbacks, when you get in their face and you hit them, they become different quarterbacks. So I expect a lot of pressure up the middle as well, Coach.
Well, you can download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Some more Brady by the numbers from America's favorite data analyst now, Steve Kornacki, Pats fan from childhood, a guy who, Steve, once owned a Drew Bledsoe jersey back in the day.
Mike, you're taking me back to the mid-'90s when Pats fans thought it would never get better than having Bledsoe and Parcells. Little did we know what was coming, but we're talking Tom Brady now, and it's been more than 4 years since Brady hit the big 4-0, since he turned 40, the age when most NFL quarterbacks, if they're still even playing, are slowing down. Watch here, though. We'll show you how, if anything, Brady's picked it up. So what you're seeing, these are the most prolific quarterbacks in league history after the age of 40. That's what we're looking at here, and we're going to do this year by year. And you see, at the age of 40, 2017 for Brady, he threw 40 touchdown passes. You see Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Warren Moon, remember him? Now watch how Brady separates himself as he ages. Through 41 years old, Favre retires at that point. This was last season for Brees. Brady up to 71 when he was 41. Through 42 years old, now Brady jumps to nearly 100. Brees played one playoff game at 42, then he retired. Through 43 years old, this was last season in Tampa, for Brady up to 145, and then just a few games into this year, 155 touchdown passes and counting just since his 40th birthday. In fact, Brady now one of only 5 quarterbacks in NFL history who even threw a pass after turning 44 years old. And most of these other quarterbacks here were basically backups at that point. Moon, Testaverde, DeBerg, they all retired after they played a season at 44 years old. Brady, starting next season, is only chasing one other quarterback. This is George Blanda, who actually, he was mostly a kicker his final years, but he did throw 3 passes when he was 48 years old and 96 days. That's the all-time record. Brady, mark your calendars for this, second week of November 2025. That's when Brady would be old enough to break that record for George Blanda. And, you know, quickly, one other thing that's not changing for Tom Brady, merchandising. Brady gear, Brady apparel. According to Fanatics, the top-selling personal brand across all the sports since the start of this season is Tom Brady. Number 2, believe it or not, Mac Jones. A lot of Patriots fans stocking up now that they got a new quarterback.
We heard that in the ovation Jones got when he came out a few minutes ago as well, Steve. Thank you for that perspective on the legend. He's done it in so many different stadiums, but in this stadium, it has made magic. Tom Brady, one more time, maybe the last time here, against Bill Belichick for the first time. Coming up on Sunday Night Football. On opening night, we showed you all the NFL records Tom Brady has. So I wanted to show you the Patriots records as he heads off the field after warm-ups, kind of peeking in the crowd, soaks a little of the scene in. These are all the New England Patriots records that he holds. One of the all-time most decorated players within his team in the National Football League's history, but heading up the visitors' tunnel. So before he comes out for the game, time for the best of Tom Brady in Foxborough. Brought to you by Verizon 5G, built right. All right, let's go back, guys. This was not in this stadium. It was the old stadium, and Tony, it was a fumble, but it wasn't.
No, hard to believe that Tom Brady's legacy started with that play, but that's what really got them going. Adam Vinatieri, of course, delivered big.
The Tuck Rule game leading to the first of the Patriots' 6 Super Bowls, the last game in old Foxborough Stadium. Let's come to this stadium, 2003. Tony's the NFC Championship game. I think you know the opponent.
Yes, and we have to show this. We came in hot, but Tom Brady cooled us off.
Coach, we couldn't allow a dome team to come in under those type of conditions.
Wait, who's that guy?
Who closed the game? Who closed the game, 37?
It's a team game, Mike.
I understand.
It ain't about me.
That led to ring number to 2007. Rodney, how about this Week 14 game against the Steelers?
Yeah, Anthony Smith, the defensive back, he guaranteed a victory. And Tom, let him know, I'll be coming in my house trying to guarantee a victory. What's wrong with you? I'll come at you every single time.
4 touchdowns, 399 yards, completing the perfect regular season that year. Drew, I don't know if you remember this, 2013, Week 6.
Do I remember this? This was a perfect pass, 5 seconds left in the game, back left corner. Just Tom Brady continues to do it.
Kembrell Tompkins caught it. Tony, 2014, the divisional playoffs against the Ravens. You were here.
I was here. Ravens were up 2 scores, but I said, hey, it's not over. Don't relax. And Tom Brady brought them back.
And the Patriots went on to win the 4th Super Bowl of the Brady era. And then, Rodney, the 2017 AFC title game against a good Jaguars team.
Well, I was here as a broadcaster sitting in a booth enjoying it. And it was a great game. Jacksonville almost had it, Mike.
Some of the best of Tom Brady and Foxborough, brought to you by Verizon. 5G built right. Brady and Belichick helped bring 6 Super Bowl banners to their stadium. Together they reshaped the entire franchise. And tonight, 18 months after splitting up, they're reunited one more time.
Warren, what's going on? Got any stories this week?
20 years in New England was incredible.
He's done more than any other player at that position.
Good day to throw. He's a great coach, a great mentor for me for a long time.
That was a tough one.
I still have a lot of great friends there, but they know I want to kick their butt this week, so they know exactly how I'm feeling once I'm out there.
And it started about 24 hours ago when Tom Brady arrived. There were fans outside the hotel to wave and say hello, and then Brady arrived at the stadium about 5:10 Eastern time, greeting Stacey James, longtime public relations man for the Patriots. Those guys have been together so many years. The fans have been here since late morning. The pregame shows were out here for the other networks. Their number 12's cold one to keep them entertained. And then after Brady arrived, Robert Kraft, the owner, came down. I talked to Robert right after. He and Tom spent about 5 minutes together. He said it was emotional for both of us. We were fighting tears. He's like a son to me. We've shared so much together. You never see the owner spend time with the visiting quarterback before a game. This isn't any game. It's a special, unique night. And when Tom Brady took the field about 30 minutes ago, a tremendous ovation, and you know there will be another one when he takes the field for the first time with the Patriots offense. And the Patriots are going to have a video right before the Bucs take the field. The fans will be able to cheer Brady. They'll also stop the game and pause it if and when he breaks Drew's all-time passing yardage record. Some thoughts here as we get wrapped up and look forward to the game.
Well, I think this night's really about 2 things. First and foremost, a celebration of Tom Brady, what he's meant to this organization, this community, all of Boston and New England, and what they've been able to share together. Number 2, I think it's closure. A little bit of closure for Tom. You know, he left under weird circumstances there in 2019 on kind of a night like this. But obviously what he's been able to accomplish down in Tampa and what they're building there with the foundation. But trust me when I say this, all the celebration, all of that, the minute that they get in between these white lines, Tom wants to whoop the Patriots' butt.
Hey, everybody thinks that Tom Brady hates Bill Belichick. That's not the case. Anytime you're a late round draft choice, 5th, 6th, 7th round, you appreciate the guy that believed in him. And Bill Belichick believed in Tom Brady. So Tom has nothing but the utmost respect, Coach.
And we've talked a lot about Brady and Belichick, but let's not forget the 2 teams. The New England Patriots do not want to go to 1-3. They want to win this game, and the Bucs don't want to fall 2 games behind undefeated Arizona. So there's a lot riding on this game, more than personal feelings.
Great point and good opportunity for the Bucs. Their entire division losing, so a chance to make up a game in the division. Time for tonight's home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. I'll start with America's pick. America is on the Bucs. Heavy, 83%. Maria and Chris, I'll let you get going.
All right, Mike, I am definitely taking Tom Brady and the Bucs and whoever's holding Rodney Harrison's umbrella right now.
Oh, seriously, what is going on there? How soft is he? Seriously, I'm going with the Bucs too. They're just too talented. I do think Belichick will have an interesting game plan, make life tough on them, but I'm going Bucs.
All right, Mike Florio, who are you going with?
I think Belichick's going to slow it down on offense, put maybe 8 guys into pass coverage on defense, and maybe they can pull Adam Vinatieri out of the stands for an overtime game winner. Patriots are winning this one, Jack Collinsworth.
Mike, I am not going to let the muskets behind me affect my decision-making right now. When the football begins, Tom Brady is leading a better team against a rookie quarterback still trying to figure it out. I'm on the Bucs. Mike Tirico, who do you guys like?
Going Pats, but I'm going to give these guys the time. Drew, go ahead.
I'm going to go Bucs. I think his team wants to win it for him. Tony?
Well, I really believe that it's going to come down to a throwing game. The Buccaneers have a great run defense, so it's going to be Tom Brady against Mac Jones. I have to give Tom Brady the edge and go with the Bucs.
Tom joked about wanting to kick the Patriots' butt, but we know he's serious. And right now, I am conflicted. I don't know who to pick, but I'm going with my boy, Coach Belichick.
You are?
I think he's going to come up with one of those epic game plans, Mike.
So funny.
I'm telling you.
All the former players went back to Belichick, right? Those are tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. I know there is a lot of build-up, but you know what? It's the greatest quarterback of all time and the greatest coach of all time. And they did it together. And maybe for one last time, they share a football field. That makes tonight something special. As anticipated an NFL regular season game as the league has seen in its 102 years. Called, as it should be, by Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Enjoy the game from Foxborough. We'll see you at halftime. The return is next.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.